Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Grace Hollow Rabbitry. I'm PJ. I'm located in northwest Arkansas, where I raise New Zealand and silver fox. They are a commercial meat breed type rabbit, and I raise these rabbits for fertilizer, meat for the table, to produce and improve breeding stock, and I also breed for the exhibition sport of it. What I wanted to talk to you about today, or well, I guess show you today, is we have a lot of weaned litters. They range from 11 weeks down to the just weaned 6-week-olds. So let's go ahead and do an update on those out-of-the-box rabbits. Alright, so first up we have a litter out of Washita and Mark, and she weaned 8 babies. We had 4 bucks and 4 does. So what we're looking at here are the bucks, and you can see we had some mist colored rabbits in this litter. Here we have a broken still buck right here, and I really like this buck. He's a real nice buck. And then in the corner we have a gold tip still buck. And in this corner we have, I believe this is a broken opal. I at first thought he was broken blue, but as he matured, you can see a little bit of cream ticking on him, and behind his ears there's a lot of white there, but let me see if I can bring him in closer for you to look at. There. Well, if you can look behind his ears, you can see that cream, like a V shape right behind the ears. So I think that is a broken opal. I really like that color. He's a beautiful, beautiful buck, and I love that coloring. Unfortunately, it is not recognized by ARBA, and so I don't have a use for him in my program. These 3 are most likely going to be butchered and processed for the kitchen table, unless someone wants one for either a pet, or if they're looking to raise some meat in their backyard and need one of these guys as a stud. I can be happy to set you up with one of them. They're just really nice bucks. I just can't use them in my program here at Grace Hollow. And then we have this guy here. I'm so close it's hard to see. He's a broken black. He's the only buck that is showable. He is a promising young guy. If I can get him to turn around. Come on. I would like to show you his nose. There we go. Come here. There, he's got a full nose marking. So he's a handsome fella, promising show prospect. And then here are the 3 does. There was actually 4 does. One of the does was a still, just like the buck over there, but she has already gone to a new home. She went to southern Texas to help a fella out in his program. And so we have 2 promising blue does and a promising black doe left from the 4 does. Those will probably stay as show prospects. Alright, up next we have a silver fox. This is out of Puff and Pepperjack, I believe. I have a little note card here. Let me put it to use. Yes, Puff and Pepperjack. They weaned 6 kits. We had 3 bucks and 3 does. This is the young doe that I kept. We had 1 doe that had a white spot on her head. So she went to my friend at Run Rabbitry. And then we had another doe who I sold to a young youth. breeder down in Texas, or at least I delivered him to Texas. And then this is the young girl that I kept, and I think she's very promising. I like her body type, I like her size. I was really hoping to show her. Unfortunately, last week I had a raccoon in my barn, and he stole one of her front toes. So I will not be able to show this doe, but I am going to hang on to her and watch her grow up. And if she turns out pretty nice, I'm probably going to keep her as a replacement doe for Puff. Puff is getting on up in age, and so I'm going to need a doe to replace her pretty soon. And I hope this young lady develops so that I can keep her and maybe breed her at the second breeding this fall. And then here are the 2 bucks out of that litter. There was a 3rd buck, but I sent him with that doe to Texas. And then here's the young buck that I kept back. And then there's a blue buck, and you can see he's quite a bit smaller than his siblings. So unless he goes to a pet home, he is most likely going to the dinner table. He's just too small. And unfortunately, my little black buck, he too is missing a toe on his front paw due to the raccoon. Alright, and then up next at 10 weeks is Everlong and Jake's litter. And here we've got two bucks and 2 does. And as fortunate as good luck has it, we have 1 black buck, 1 black doe, and then we have 1 broken buck and 1 broken doe. So I do hope to keep all 4 of these. I'm going to watch them grow up and see how they turn out. But right now they are very promising show prospects. And I do hope to use them as replacement broodstock next spring. I hope these guys develop the way I hope and turn out to be excellent broodstock. I have no doubts that they will, but you know, sometimes things just don't go the way you think they should. So we're going to watch them and we're going to find out. But right now I have high hopes for these 4 animals. Alrighty then, and now we're going to go into several litters of 8 weeks old. Here is the first litter, and this is only half of the litter. I have them divided up. This is Austin and Cash, and in this pen we have 2 bucks and 2 does. I do not remember which is which, but we do have 2 bucks and 2 does in here. And again, you know, these are out of Austin and Cash, a very promising litter. I'm going to watch them, see how they grow out. But there are 7 in this litter. We have 3 more black. We ended up with 4 black and 4 black and 3 broken, and we ended up with more does than bucks for a change. And so I will not be able to keep all 7 of these. So I'm going to start pulling them out, evaluating them, tattooing them, and hopefully I'm going to go in order of age and do that 1 litter at a time and film it so that I can show you how they're turning out and what's going on. So here is the first 4 of Austin and Cash, 2 bucks, 2 does. Alright, and here's the remaining 3 in that litter. Again, this is Austin and Cash. The 3 blacks, we have, you know, I ought to throw the other black over here, so we got 4 black and then the 3 broken divided up. But anyway, these 3, the reason they're divided up the way that they are is these 3 were the 3 that Tawnytown fostered. So these 3 here were actually raised by Tawnytown, while the other 4 over there was raised by Austin. She had, I think, 3 more. No, 2 more. There was a total of 9, and so I split them up, and she was raising 6, and then by giving these 3 to Tawnytown, Tawnytown had 6. and we ended up losing 2 of the ones that Tawnytown had. So she weaned 4, and then these 3 were weaned by Tawnytown. And we have 2 does and 1 buck. And again, I'm not going to be able to keep all of these. We have a total of 4 does and 3 bucks. So one of these rabbits is probably going to go in that black package that I'm giving away here in just a couple of weeks. We're going to go through the litters and see what I've, body type wise, see what I'm keeping, and I'm going to pick out the best of what's left, and that's going to be what is going to be given away in that homestead giveaway. So if you're looking to enter that, I will be doing that video. Right up next is Tawnytown's litter, and they were sired by Dallas. And we have 2 bucks and 1 doe. As it turned out, we've got 1 blue buck, 1 blue doe, and this broken blue here is also a buck. And boy, I really like this broken blue buck. He's showing promise. He's still young. They're 8 weeks. Well, they're actually almost 9 weeks, but we're going to say 8 weeks because they won't be 9 weeks till Monday, and today's Saturday. But some promising little kits here too. Alright, and then up next we have Faith and Jake. These guys are also 8 weeks old, same age. And we got 5 out of this litter. We have 3 does and 2 bucks. And so this is probably going to be the litter that a second animal for that homestead giveaway comes from. Because too many for me to keep. And I know these guys are going to be nice. Austin was a super nice doe. Unfortunately, we did lose her, I assume, to delivery complications, because I gave her a thorough check. I checked her nest box, or gave her her nest box, and I checked on her twice a day. And she was great. I checked on her Monday night, and she was doing great. She was hay stashing and pulling fur. And when I came out Tuesday morning, she was laying next to her nest box, and she was gone. So I'm definitely going to keep at least one of these does to replace her with. But one of the others, buck or doe, I don't know yet. One of these will probably go into that homestead giveaway package. And again, very nice, promising animals here. I had some really nice litters this spring, and it's long due because I've had some rough ones in the during the winter. I didn't hardly get anything, so these are the first go of the spring litters, and now we have the second go of the spring litters in the nest boxes. But we're going to start sorting through these, and they're going to sort through, find out what's staying, what doesn't make the cut, and what will be sold or given away. So anyway, keep your eye out for them. Right, and then we're up to some blue kits, and look at this. Very nice blue. These are out of Dallas and Diamond. So blue mom, blue dad. Diamond is now a registered grand champion, and Dallas is registered, and he's my big blue buck. And so these guys, they've got the bloodlines behind them, so hopefully we get some good ones out of this litter. And we have 2 bucks, 2 does. Up next we have these 3 guys. These are out of Gunnar and Mark, and again they're 8 weeks, almost 9 weeks. We had 5. Unfortunately, right after weaning them, we had a little mishap. They knocked the feeder off, and all but 1 got loose, and the dogs found a couple of them, and then I found the other 2 and returned them to their cage and back to safety. We have left 2 bucks and 1 doe. On the black, 1 buck, 1 doe, and this little broken guy is a buck. Very promising. The doe, I really hope she turns out nice, because I really planned on keeping her to replace the queen, because the queen has been sold. She has gone to Kentucky. And so I was really hoping to have a little more does to choose from, but I do have DeSoto, who's a broken doe out of the queen, and then the little black doe. I plan to name her Delight, and hopefully she'll be just as nice as the queen and DeSoto are. Alright, and then our next litter. This was, of course, it always happens, next to Everlong. This was my second favorite litter. I had high hopes for these guys. These guys are out of Waterloo and Mark. Unfortunately, like I mentioned earlier, we had a raccoon in the barn, and this litter took the biggest hit. We have 5 broken blue here. We got 2 bucks and 3 does, and we have some extensive damage here. I mean, we have lots of toes missing, you can see here. Now he seems to be moving around just fine, and they're eating, they're gaining, they're doing fine. I'm going to watch them for a couple more weeks to make sure infection doesn't set in or anything. And as long as they appear to have a quality of life and they have good quality bodies, which I have no doubt that they will, but we're going to watch them anyway. Now they did have a little slowdown the first week after their injuries. They weren't feeling so good, so they kind of laid around for a while, and they didn't eat as well as they should have. But they are back on full feed now, and they're starting to grow again. So we're just going to watch these toes and see how they heal. Sadly, oh so sadly, there was just so much damage that I may keep one doe for breeding, but you know, I'm looking for something that I can show and register, and I'm not going to be able to show them or register them, so I may not keep any at all. I don't know. So if there's interest in them, maybe they can go for breeding stock for someone else or a pet. And if not, these guys, unfortunately, are probably going to end up going to the freezer in a couple of weeks. They're 8 weeks old now, almost 9. So we'll give them another week or 2 to grow. And at that time, we'll probably put them in the freezer unless someone is interested in some breeding stock or pets. That's so sad. It just makes me sick. And then our next litter, and these guys are a little bit dirty. We have the 2 blues, 1 buck, 1 doe. Those are out of Cass and Kirby, and they're 8 weeks old. And then these white ones is 2 white bucks out of that Waterloo and Mark litter. So there was the 5 broken blue and then the 2 whites. And I was really hoping for a white doe, but unfortunately they're both bucks. But I have interest in both of them, so I think they are both sold. And if not, then they will be, or they'll go to the stew pot. Either way, I don't need another white buck. I have Columbus, and that's all I intend to keep at this time. So we have in this pen the 2 white bucks out of Waterloo and Mark, and then the 2 blue, Kirby and Cass, 1 buck, 1 doe. Alright, and now we're going to get down to some younger ones. These are just weaned. This is 2, believe it or not, 2 young does out of Gunnar and Dallas, so they will be dilute carriers. And they're both does, and they are 6 weeks old, so they're a little bit younger than all these other ones I've been showing you. But you know, they're keeping up almost the same size. Of course, there was only 2 of them. Gunnar had a big litter, but she was a first-time mom, and as oftentimes has it, first-time moms are unreliable, and so she had a big portion of her kits on the wire, and so she ended up with only these 2 living kits, and they're both does and both dilute carriers. Gunnar is a purchased doe. She's not one of mine, so she's only going to be here short term. I'm going to have a couple litters out of her, and then I'm going to move her on to someone else, and I'm going to keep a doe to replace her, and so I'm going to be watching these 2 for just a little while. All right, and here we have a blue and broken blue litter. These are out of Bluegrass and Tax. Now I'm splitting this litter with Courtney. Unfortunately, we ended up with 3 bucks and 1 doe. The little blue buck back there is a buck. The solid blue one back there is a buck. And then let me take a look. I'm pretty sure this one is a buck, and he's a really nice buck. And then this one is the other buck, I believe. And then this one right here, the one with the lighter pattern, she's the doe. I think I'm going to hang on to her because, you know, Bluegrass is really small. She's on her own right about 8.5 pounds, which is quite a bit bigger than she was when I brought her home, but she's still pretty small. And so I bred her to my biggest buck at the time, which was Tex, and hopefully this doe will end up being bigger than Bluegrass. So I'm going to keep her to replace Bluegrass, because Bluegrass will only be here short term. I have this litter out of her, and then I am going to breed her, or I think I've already bred her. Actually, she's due in the next few days. She's bred to Dallas, who is also a really big blue buck. And I hope to keep a doe out of that litter, and then the best of the 2 I will keep as a breeding doe and replace Bluegrass with the daughter. So that's that, and I hope that little blue buck turns out pretty nice, because I'm going to need something to show this fall. I need some blue bucks and blue does to show for this fall, so I'm looking forward to one of these bucks. I'm going to let Courtney have her choice of the bucks. I chose the doe, so I'm going to let her choose the other 2 that she wants, and whichever buck is left over is the one I'll keep, but that's how that goes. Alright, last but not least are these black silver fox. This is Velveeta and Colby's litter. We have 6. These guys are 6 weeks old and they're ready to be weaned. But I haven't done so yet, and so they are still with mom, but I will be weaning them probably later on today, but I didn't want to leave them out of the video. So at this time, I don't know how many bucks or does we have. I just know we have 6 6-week-old silver fox babies. So hopefully we'll have some does out of here, and hopefully we'll have some bucks, because the buck and the doe that I kept back for showing, I'm not going to be able to show. So hopefully I can get a show bunny out of these, 1 buck and 1 doe. Alright, last I've decided to include this litter. They're kind of in the middle and don't fit anywhere. They're not in the nest box, so they're not update from the nest box. But they're not weaned yet either, so they don't fit in the out of the box group. So but they are out of the box. These guys are 4 weeks old, and this is Liberty and I believe Dallas. I'm not sure. I'll have to look that up and write it down below. It could be Mark or it could be Tex. I don't know. But she has 8, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then she's got 1 in the corner tucked underneath her cheek. So yes, 8 babies. And again, these guys are 4 weeks old and will be ready to wean in 2 more weeks. Hey, little cute guy. Hello. Say hello to your fans. They love you guys. Oh, look at there. Just past the hamster stage. Little cuties. Look at those little guys. Aren't they adorable? Just love them. This is my favorite age, 4 weeks. They're so inquisitive. Aren't you proud of me for remembering to turn off that loud fan today? But it is hot today. It's not quite noon, or maybe just at noon, and it's already 85 degrees. So we're going to be pushing 90 today. Very hot and humid because of all the rain we've had. And so I need to hurry up and get that fan back on. With that said, down below I'm going to leave some links. One will be to my website where I will post available rabbits as they come up. Right now nothing's available except for those off-color bucks. If you're interested in those, those are available. I have not posted them on the website yet. I don't know that I will. I'm selling them without pedigrees and only for a short amount of time. I'm not going to keep feeding these off-colored kits. When I quit feeding them, they feed me. So on Monday I'm going to be butchering those unless they're sold prior. So they will not go on the website. But available rabbits, as I go through and I start posting them for sale, they will go on that website. I also have my show schedule posted on there. The show season is starting to come to a close. I only have 3 shows left. And there is a show in August, I think, in Jonesboro. And I think there's a show, one show in July, but I can't remember where it's at. Or maybe the July show is in Jonesboro. I don't know. That schedule is on that website, so be sure to check them out. I'm always happy to deliver any of my available rabbits to any of the shows that I attend, or I can drop off along my route to a show. I'm also going to leave a link to our Facebook fan page where you can see more of the day-to-day goings on around here at Grace Hollow. I've got the garden out. I've got my bird feeders out, so I'm going to be sharing some pictures of those and maybe even do some videos of them here along the way. I don't know, but you can see all that right there on the fan page. Be sure to check them out. Like, subscribe, whatever it is you do to stay in touch. Feel free to contact me there on Facebook or by email. It's gracehollow@yahoo.com, and I will be happy to answer any questions or just say hello and have a conversation with you. Thanks for watching, and until we speak again, God bless.